What's up, guys? We are back again with another problem. Today is the 15th of January, not 3rd of January, and we are back again with another problem. Today we need to count the sorted vowel string if we are given a number n. So we are given we have five vowels, as we know, and we are given these vowels, and we are given a number n, and we need to calculate how many sorted strings can be formed using them. So let's take an example of one. So the five sorted strings can be A, E, I, O, and U. And for two, there are 15, which is A, E, A, I, A, O, A, U, then E, E, A, E. You get the point, right? So, and these should be sorted like a dictionary is sorted. How? Like after A, B comes and C comes. This means that for every valid I, S of I is same or less than S of I plus 1. Now let me drive you through the logic here. It would be much easier for you to understand. Let's write A, then B, then C. Okay, let's rub it. I should stop embarrassing myself. Hey, my mouse is not working now. This is a really bad idea to do it here. Let's just continue it here. There, I'll do it there. And not that. Now let's quickly write our vowels A, E, I, O, and U. So let's give a space. So for this is n. Now when n is equal to 1, what happens is we can form 1, 1, 1, 1 and 1 strings only. But when n is equal to 2, what we can do is, let's skip it here. Now what we can do is, here we have only 1, because after that is U. You can't append anything after U, otherwise it will ruin the order. But for O, what you can do is, you can assign a value. For O, there can be two strings, which is OO and OU. I mean, U can be followed by O. So it would be this, there, and this would be 2 here. What this would do is, for I, you have three options, either II or IO or IU. So this would be 3. And for this, it would be 4. And for this, it would be 5. There. And if we take the example of n equals to 3, what happens there is, you can have a lot here, but for you can have only one string, that is U, and U. You can't append anything, so it would be 1. But let's look for O. So the previous string was OO. Now you have two options to make it a string of length 3. Either you can append a O or you can append a U. So it would be OOO or OOU. So there are two ways to do it, and there is one more way to do it. It was O only, then you could append UU too. So there are three ways to do it. Let's just consider this case. We have O, then there are we have two places left. In first place, you could either append an O or an U. If you append an O, it would become OO. If you append an U, it would become OU. Now for OO, you have another two options. You could append a O or a U. But for OU, you can only append a U, because if you append an O, it would ruin the order. So the strings are, let's just do it here. It would be OO, OOU, and it would be OUU. So there are three strings. Let's just write it here, 3. Now let's consider the case for our I. After I, you have again two spaces left, and you could append three things there: I, O, or U. If you append I there, let's take the first case. It would be II. After II, you could have I, O, or U again. So this gives us three strings: I, U. 3. Now if you take I and O, you again have two possibilities. Either you could take O or you could take U. So this gives us 2. Then again, if you have I and U, you only have one possibilities, which gives us 1. So total summation of those is 6. But if you have noticed a pattern here, this 3, 2, 1 looks kind of familiar. These are the same thing we could have done there in the when n was equal to 2, when the length was 2, because we are doing the same thing there. So this number, this 6 is nothing but the sum of these numbers, and this 3 is nothing but the sum of this. So we can easily calculate this. This would be 10, and here this would be 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 5. That would give us 15. So this is a 15 then, and that is it. That's all we need to do. We don't need any backtracking or anything. We just need to calculate the pattern. We just need to continue the pattern. And for this, what I did is I created a array of length 5. I initiated the array by 1, and what I did is I started decreasing n. I started decreasing n, and for every time what I did is I calculated this. So I calculated this n times, but not n minus 2 times, because I didn't need the 0, and I already took care of the case where n is equal to 1. So I calculated it for the n minus 1 times, and I updated my array, and after that I just took a sum of that array and I returned that array. And that is really what you need to do here. And this was a really simple one. I hope it works. I didn't submit it, I didn't know why. Yeah, it works, and that is it. And